Iran to hold meeting with China, Russia over nuclear program. UN snapback mechanism. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghei on Monday announced that Iran will host a high-level trilateral meeting with China and Russia on Tuesday. The spokesman said the meeting will focus on Iran's nuclear program and the United Nations snapback sanctions mechanism. Earlier, Baghei also said that Iran will hold nuclear talks with Britain, France, and Germany in Istanbul on Friday. This comes following warnings by the three European nations that failure to resume talks would bring back international sanctions to Iran. The meeting between Iran, Britain, France and Germany will take place at the deputy foreign minister level, Iranian state media quoted Baghei as saying. Recently, the foreign ministers of the E3 nations, as those European countries are known, as well as the European Union's foreign policy chief, held their first call on Thursday with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araqchi since Israel and the US attacked Iranian nuclear facilities in June. The three European countries, along with China and Russia, are the remaining parties to a 2015 nuclear deal reached with Iran from which the US withdrew in 2018 that lifted sanctions on the Middle Eastern country in return for restrictions on its nuclear program. The E3 have warned that they would restore UN sanctions on Tehran through the snapback mechanism by the end of August if nuclear negotiations between Iran and the US stalled since before the Israel-Iran air conflict do not resume or fail to yield fruitful results. If EU E3 want to have a role, they should act responsibly, and put aside the worn-out policies of threat and pressure, including the snapback for which they lack absolutely any moral and legal ground, Araqchi said earlier in the week. The snapback mechanism can be used to reinstate UN sanctions before the UN Security Council resolution enshrining the deal expires on October 18. Swipe left for next video. And before of deadly Israel-Iran conflict, Tehran and Washington had engaged in 5 rounds of nuclear negotiations which was mediated by Oman. However, the talks hit significant roadblocks, particularly over Iran's uranium enrichment activities that Western powers aim to reduce to zero to eliminate the risk of potential weaponization. Meanwhile, Iran insists that its nuclear program is entirely intended for civilian use only. Latest blogs.